This is Dumont, and lately I've been getting a lot of requests on advice for Bakugan video reviews. And there's just way too many of you all, but I do want to help. So as a way of saying thank you for your support, I'm making this video that gives you my tips. The first thing we need to start with is a script. So if you're going to make a video, a movie, whatever, you need to have a script, and that's basically the same as a blueprint, a skeleton. And believe it or not, it makes a big difference, because if you have a script, it gives you an idea of how to expand, how to change things. You know, mine is real simple. I think you all know. It's number 1 is marble form, number 2 is transformation, and number 3 is alt mode. And I think you've all seen that I change that up. Sometimes I completely skip the marble form if there's nothing really to talk about. Sometimes I show the cards that it came with before the marble form, and other times I add fan modes at the end, or you know, so you want to be flexible with it. You can change it all up, but the main thing is to actually have this blueprint. Yours does not have to be the same as mine, but have some sort of core. The second thing is, let's talk about cinematography. Cinematography is basically how your video is going to look, and this is where I want my videos to look professional. You want your videos to look professional so that people will take you seriously. If you're a kid and making videos, it's going to be very hard for adults and other people to look at your videos and take it seriously. So you have to do everything you can to make it look professional as possible. Now, the first thing is, if you notice, my camera hardly moves, because the camera is the viewer's eyes, essentially. So if you're constantly moving that around, that makes the viewer dizzy. It can make the viewer sick. So try not to move the camera. The second thing is, I try not to move the Bakugan, because if you move it around too much, it's very hard to see detail. And you know, if you have a camera that's not that great, especially like mine is not a good camera, I need to do everything that I can to, you know, to help it, to make sure that you all can see as much as possible. And that goes along to the next thing, which is lighting. You want to film it in the area that has the best lighting possible. I film my stuff in the kitchen. That happens to be the most well-lit area in my place, so I use the kitchen. I don't care if you have to go to your restroom and film the stuff. If that's the most well-lit area, then go there, you know. Now, I've also seen people bring in lamps and stuff, so they bring in their own light source. Now that's very good. The basic understanding for that is, wherever you put your light source, it's going to create a shadow in the opposite direction. So basically, if you put a light behind your Bakugan, okay, then that's going to create a shadow into your camera. So you want the light source to be behind your camera. Does that make sense? And even better would be to have the light source directly above the Bakugan, because what that does is that minimizes the shadow. So imagine if you're walking outside, if the sun is directly above you, that's when your shadow is the smallest, and that's what we're trying to do here. We want the shadow to be as small as possible. There are so many videos that I see on YouTube where people say, you know, rate and subscribe, okay, and also comment. Unless you're asking a very specific question, you know, don't ask them to comment. If they have nothing to say, they're not going to say anything. If they have something to say, they will, you know. And the same thing with rate and subscribe. Everyone on YouTube, everyone that goes on YouTube knows that you can rate and knows that you can subscribe. Nobody needs to be reminded of this. Nobody. You know, if you do remind them in every video, it's like you're a pushy salesperson, and nobody likes that. Ask yourself, what kind of videos do you like to see? What do you really, really like to see? And make those. Okay? So it doesn't matter if you have no subscribers. It doesn't matter if you have 0 comments. Okay? It doesn't matter if everyone thinks that your videos suck. Because you are making videos that you want to see. Okay? And as long as you keep working on it, and you look at it and you go, I think I could fix this, or I don't like this part about my own video, and you keep working on it and you keep fixing it like that, okay? Trust me, there's gonna be other people that share your same opinion and they like what you like too. They're gonna go, hey, you know, I agree, I like those kinds of videos too, you know? If you look at my videos, my main goal was simple. My main goal was that I wanted people to appreciate their Bakugan. And the type of videos that I like are the small details, the ones that point out details, and the ones that show you different views, that especially things like fan modes. That's what I like to see with Transformer videos and stuff. So that is what I try to bring to the Bakugan world. Okay, so you know, when I first started off, yeah, I had 0 subscribers. Nobody cared, you know. In fact, a lot of people were dissing me. They were like, what the heck? You know, you're an adult and you're playing with toys. And, you know, I got all these negative comments. I didn't care. I didn't care, and I didn't give up. Because these were the videos that I wanted to see. So just make sure you do that, and then it won't matter, you know, how many subscribers you have. Because all that is like a roller coaster. It constantly changes, you know. Some days you're going to have lots of good comments. Some days you'll have 0. Some days you'll have a lot of negative comments. It happens to me too, okay? So if you're always paying attention to that and that's so important to you, then it's like a roller coaster. You're going to be happy, you're going to be sad, happy, sad, happy, sad, and basically you're going to go crazy. So you have to ignore all that and just work on what you really like.